From their social commentary on the Black Lives Matter movement to Jennifer Esposito's unceremonious exit from the show, here's a list of some of the most controversial episodes from TV's favorite police procedural series. Well, not a favorite anymore, at least, because viewership's been down throughout season 11, and the directors aren't helping. 13 years, 12 seasons, and 250 episodes later, Blue Bloods has made a name for itself as one of the most well-known police procedural series on television today, arguably of all time. I switched over from calling it everyone's favorite to the most well-known because season 11 saw a major chunk of its fan base walk out the door, vowing to never tune in ever again. Why's that? Off the top of my head? Season 11 premiered immediately after social and racial movements rallied all across the United States. So, what do the directors of television's most prominent police procedural series do in the wake of it all? They direct one of the most controversial episodes of the series yet. Season 11's The New Normal shows Officer Danny Reagan show restraint when confronted by a civilian with a gun. The guy, Warren Pratt, pushes Officer Wendell, grabs his gun, and points it at Danny and Maria. Danny aims his gun right back at him, but doesn't shoot in spite of Wendell's persistence. Warren eventually creates a distraction and speeds off. Danny then faces heat for not shooting when he did. But he insists that it was the right thing to do since Warren wasn't an immediate threat. The episode actually scored a 7.4 from critics, but fans weren't thrilled with the premise. And it's not because of what you're probably thinking. Fans were mad at the fact that they sided with the movement. Danny showing restraint was probably the show's take on how the police force should deal with situations where civilians are found armed. Basically, you don't fire until you're certain the other guy's an immediate threat. This was one of the core aims of the police reform movement going around at the time. Officers should be trained to rely on brute force as little as possible. I know what you're thinking. Why would anyone have a problem with this? Because a major chunk of Blue Bloods' viewership came from people on the other side of the movement. They thought the police force was being dealt with unfairly. And The New Normal showed that the series was siding with the movement. So yeah, that ruffled a few feathers. And by a few feathers, I mean people took to social media to announce that they'd never tune in to watch the Reagan family ever again. One former fan commented on how the family had shifted from the values they were shown to have in earlier seasons. Just like in Season 8's Episode 15, when Frank removes an alleged racist police officer from her post, Blue Bloods is the gift that keeps on giving. If not in sensational seasons, at least it gives us a good headline from time to time. Back in 2018, when the show was airing its 8th season, Episode 15 seemed to have made its way to Twitter as one of the worst episodes the show had ever made. Not my words, but admittedly the show's been losing viewers since Season 8. It's gone down from a whopping 14 million to a humble 6 million today. Back to the worst episode ever made. Legacy. The episode showed Frank Reagan, the core character of the entire series, making a decision about a police officer accused of racial profiling. Basically, video footage of the police officer arresting someone had gone viral, with people calling her out for racial profiling. The officer denied the claims, but Frank had to make a decision, and he decided to remove her from her post. The episode drew controversy because Frank's been known for fiercely siding with his force. Fans claimed that the patriarch of the Reagan family had gone soft. Maybe it was time he needed a break. After all, that's what the directors said Jennifer Esposito's character was doing. When they wrote off Jackie Curatola for some pretty debatable reasons. Now, Jackie was the yin to Danny's yang. He'd go into a burning building without a second thought, and she'd look for the best route before making a decision. Arguably, Jackie humbled Danny, and fans loved her for it. That, plus the fact that she was played by the uber-talented Jennifer Esposito. If you placed your bets on Jennifer lasting throughout the season's run, you'd be out of a lot of money right now. Curatola was a series regular for the first 3 seasons of the show. She made it through 46 episodes, just long enough for fans to get to know her better, work out her backstory, and come up with a few fan theories on where her character would go from there. But right before Season 4 aired, Esposito announced that her role had been cut. I know, it was the plot twist of the century. and fans still haven't gotten over episode 1 of season 4 for this reason. Especially since no one wanted Kuratola's character to be let go. But that's what the directors decided was best for the show. Or were there other reasons for firing Jennifer? According to a few sources and the actress herself, the showrunners grew uneasy with her celiac disease diagnosis after she'd collapsed on set. She claimed that she had to be rushed to the hospital that day, but was otherwise in good health. Jennifer claimed that when she revealed that her doctors had advised her to cut back a bit on her acting, the showrunners took it as, "Hey, just write me off completely." Esposito was pressed about it for a while, but ultimately decided to take the high road. Their loss, right? Amy Carlson, however, still believes her character was dealt with unfairly. Danny can't seem to catch a break after his work wife left him for a less stressful job. Yep, that's how the directors wrote off Jennifer Esposito's character. His actual wife followed suit. But in Linda Reagan's case, she didn't leave because of a stressful marriage. Nope, she was killed off the show, something that Amy Carlson is still bitter about. Carlson was bumped up from a recurring character from seasons 1 through 5 to a starring lead role from seasons 5 through 7. But just before season 8 aired, it was announced that Carlson would not be returning to Blue Bloods. And how did the showrunners write in her absence from the show? They just said that she died in a plane crash. That's about it. No dramatic plane crash sequence either. Danny just revealed that his wife, the mother of his child and the central focus of the last season, had died in a plane crash. I get why Carlson might be bitter about being written off the show, because the way they did it made little to no sense. And based on that, you could probably tell that episode 1 of season 8 was pretty controversial. Well, at least it's better than the time they tried to be woke, but failed miserably. Season 5's Burning Bridges will forever go down in history as the episode in whereby the showrunners tried too hard and massively failed. The episode follows the aftermath of one police officer revealing his sexual orientation to his patrol buddy and dealing with a shift in his behavior. They're assigned different partners, the whole force is gossiping about it, and the guy feels isolated. Now, all of what I just said had the makings of being a great premise for an episode, but it was the way they did it that left a bad taste in everyone's mouth. Fans claimed that the showrunners were trying too hard at being woke. It wasn't something that was needed of them, but they decided to throw their hat into the ring and massively failed. I could probably name a few more controversial episodes from Blue Bloods, but that's about all the time we have for today. See you in the next video.